This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Oh boy, this is a pretty good interview if I do say so myself. So, today's topic is David Savard, Montreal Canadiens' recent free agent acquisition, and a guy who has been quite noteworthy in the Montreal Canadiens world the past few weeks, mostly because his previous team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, had just defeated the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Finals. Can I say that without people wanting to choke me to death? Is it too fresh, the wound there? I'm not really too sure. I mean, it is what it is. Either way, though, David Savard was initially a Columbus Blue Jackets right-handed defenseman who had a pretty long, storied career with that team. He was drafted in 2009 by the Blue Jackets, spent the next decade with the Blue Jackets, eventually was traded away to the Tampa Bay Lightning in a three-way trade with the Detroit Red Wings. The Lightning were able to acquire David Savard, a really good shutdown caliber guy who didn't really produce all too many points, but who had a very good calming presence on the back end as a final piece to their top six. They played him on the third pairing with Mikhail Sergachev. By the way, yeah, Mikhail Sergachev was playing on the third pairing. That's what happens when you have Victor Hedman and Ryan McDonough ahead of you. And guess what? He had 5 points in 20 games played in the postseason. Savard won the Stanley Cup, and then he signed with his hometown Montreal Canadiens. The contract is pretty good too. A 3.5 AAV for the next 4 seasons after getting 4.25 for a few years in his recent deal. He took a hometown discount in what was a transaction that not a lot of insiders were all too surprised about. Elliot Friedman was kind of saying in the weeks leading up to free agency that, yeah, I'm going to say Savard heads to Montreal because that's just my prediction. Either way, though, we have ourselves the newest guy that's going to come out here. He's 6'2", 229, a big hulking guy on the right side. It's very much needed, especially with the absence of Shea this season. However, David Savard had himself an interview done with the NHL, and the biggest, most impactful quote is said right here in the title of the article. David Savard says the Montreal Canadiens are planning to return to the Stanley Cup Finals and win it all. And you know, I saw this article pop up in my timeline and I was like, oh boy, that's bold. That's really, really bold. How many teams can go out there and definitively say to the media, yeah, we're going to make the finals again? Like, 2? The Penguins earlier in this decade and the Tampa Bay Lightning are probably the only teams that, in my opinion, had the right to go out there and say, yeah, we'll probably go here again. Maybe the Blackhawks of the early 2010s too, I guess. But, man, contextually speaking, just hearing the idea of the Canadiens heading to the finals again for the second year in a row, my immediate instinct, and sorry for the long tangent before we get into the quotes, my immediate instinct when I hear that idea is that a lot needs to go right. Because when the Canadiens went to the finals this season, a lot went right. What I mean by that is that the Canadiens weren't really all too great of a team in the regular season. Sure, they started off hot against Vancouver because Tyler Toffoli went Super Saiyan, but they had some really bad losing streaks throughout the year. They finished 4th in what was ultimately a weak North Division. They made the playoffs with a guarantee of one of these divisional teams making the Final Four, and everything went right for Montreal. They beat a choking Leafs team, they capitalized on an inconsistent Jets team, and they had Philippe Deneau to shut down the top forwards of the Vegas Golden Knights, while Marc-Andre Fleury fumbled the bag and pretty much lost the team the series in Game 3. This was a team that had everything right happen to it, and I get it, they were good. I don't want to make it seem like the Canadiens didn't deserve to get there and that they were lucky, but the things that allowed the Canadiens to make the finals in 2021 are absolutely not guaranteed to happening again in 2022. You don't have Philippe Deneau anymore, you don't have a North Division anymore, you don't have this weird format where a Canadian team is guaranteed to make the Final Four. This is a different year. So, for David Savard as a brand new player to come in here, talk about how he's saying the Canadiens are planning to make the finals again and win the Stanley Cup, especially now without Shea, it kind of ticks off the spidey sense a little bit, you know? But before we get into the comments, we read the article, we talk about what exactly it is Savard says verbatim, let's hear a quick word from today's video sponsor. Attention listeners across the galaxy. Do we have a pubic problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. The GOAT of all hair down there trimmers. It's so good, the orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. For the ultimate takeoff that's out of this world, check out the Performance Package 4.0, where you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to store your whole solar system. Abort your hairy planets and Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with code LEGOROCKS at manscaped.com. Yes, that is right, 20% off and free shipping with the code LEGOROCKS at Manscaped. For a clean trinity and beyond, your planets below the waist will thank you with Manscaped. The first quote in the article, by the way, link in the description as always, reads this from Mr. Savard. "We're going to try to bring it back to Montreal. That's the plan for next year. What I would like is to be back in Lac-Beauport with the Cup next year." This is what he says about the new roster acquisitions, Mike Hoffman, Cedric Paquette. It's a different team, but not by much. I like the way the Canadiens played against us in the finals. They have several veterans who have already won the Cup, Paquette with the Lightning and defenseman Joel Edvinsson and goalie Jake Allen with the Blues. I'm going to try to bring my own baggage and make it an even better team. We're all planning to return to the final and to win it. Oh man, the confidence, I love it. I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself from what I said earlier in the video, but man, does this not get you somewhat excited for what the Canadiens might be able to do? The article here places a very big emphasis on David Savard's role in filling up for what is Shea Weber's spot. The Canadiens' captain will not play this season because of multiple injuries, and his NHL career could be over, Bergevin said on July 22nd. "I know what I have to do," Savard said. "I've been doing it for several years now, and I'm not going to change. The team also knows what I can bring them. I'm keeping the same formula." Now, when it comes to the replacement of Shea Weber, it does say here in the article that Weber did average 25 minutes of ice time, playing all 22 playoff games for the Habs this season. Savard averaged 5 minutes less than that in 10 seasons with the Blue Jackets and Lightning, and 2017 in the playoffs. So, just from a load management point of view, just going out there and saying that Savard is the one-for-one replacement of Shea Weber, yeah, it's not going to fly like that, sorry. There is going to be a little bit more compensation needed, either with other players on the team, giving them a little bit more minutes, or just saying to Savard, okay, you're playing 5 minutes more per night. Can you do that? If you can, then okay. Furthermore, when it comes to offense, we all kind of know that Shea Weber isn't really the top producer like he was before. He's not really getting 50-point seasons anymore, nor is he really scoring 20 goals a year like he was before either. But he still is a guy that can man a power play and can be that top guy. Savard hasn't really been in that same production kind of status throughout his career, so I do kind of question if you're going to go out there and say that Shea Weber's role is being taken over by Savard, how much of that role is actually going to be able to be fulfilled. Are you going to go out there and say that Savard is all of a sudden going to score 10 goals on a year now? Because I'll tell you what, right here, he's been playing in the NHL the past 8 seasons pretty much. He's only cracked 10 goals once, and he had that in 2015. So there are a few other questions that I personally have if you're going to go out there and talk about Shea Weber being taken out and being replaced with Savard, who, quite frankly, was a third-pairing guy on the Lightning, albeit a 20-minute guy who ended up winning a Stanley Cup championship. Weber is just a perennial all-star, first ballot Hall of Fame, baby. And, yeah, I'm kind of joking. That's a Tim Hortons commercial if you hadn't heard. I would love for Savard to go out there and prove me wrong and be like, yeah, I can play 25 minutes a night. I can get a whole bunch of goals. I can start producing. I can be the Weber replacement. It's just, is it not fair for me to have my doubts this early into the season because the season hasn't actually begun yet? Wrapping up the video though, going over Savard's final comments here in the piece, "I'm looking forward to putting on the skates and playing a first game at the Bell Center," he said. "It'll be nice to be closer to my family and friends." This is kind of the other aspect that we hadn't really seen with Savard throughout the entirety of his career either. He's from Quebec, so he's played his entire career outside of his hometown environment, in Columbus for all these years, in Tampa for the Cup run, and now he is coming home. So, as he says, you know, he wants to bring the Cup back to his small town in Quebec, Lac-Beauport over there, and I apologize to anybody if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly and I'm offending your ears. But contextually speaking, it is really interesting to hear the confidence coming out here and saying, yeah, I personally want to win the Cup again, and the Canadiens, this squad that I'm on right now, we're planning to go to the finals again, we're planning to win it this time. Maybe if they play Tampa Bay in the finals, they'll play Corey Perry once more, and it'll either be a three-peat sweep for the Lightning, or Montreal will get their revenge. It'll be a Pittsburgh-Detroit kind of reverse situation over there, and Corey Perry will be on the receiving end of it 3 years in a row. I do not want that to happen. Oh my goodness, if Montreal plays Tampa in the finals and Corey Perry ends up losing it for a third year in a row, that would be the ultimate just middle finger from the hockey gods right there to Corey Perry. Either way, though, talk to me in the comments what do you think about David Savard's comments saying that the Habs are planning to go to the finals and win the Cup this year. I certainly think it's a little bit ambitious considering the circumstances, but I do like the confidence for sure. Talk to me in the comments. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls99, and bye.